Welcome back to the Ron Johnson Show. It's now time for the Daily Three. For those listening on the podcast, thank you. And you're about to get entertained. For those watching on YouTube, you're about to see what Sam really looks like. Take it away, Sam. That's 3 questions, 3 minutes.
Surprise. I was at Vikings practice yesterday. Wow. Adam Thielen made one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. It was Odell-like. Back line of the end zone, one-handed, reaching over the top, tiptoeing, backpedaling. It was unbelievable. I haven't seen video of it from VEN, so it might not exist except in my memory, but it was amazing. Kevin O'Connell raved about it after the fact and got me thinking, how many touchdowns is Adam Thielen good for this year, Ron?
Well, Adam Thielen was one of the top red zone receivers. At 6'2", he doesn't carry himself like he's 6'2". He kind of, he slouches, he walks low. So people, he's like unassuming. But then you look at the numbers, like he's killed it in the red zone the last few years. And so I know Kevin O'Connell, and he's talked about this. He's talked about red zone efficiency. He's talked about the amount of times Kellen Mond or Kirk Cousins is checked out of a play and into a good play in the red zone. So they're going to really, and everybody heightens the red zone. But now when you're head coach, because my guess is Zimmer, defensive guy, his focus, which they did a great job, was third down defense and red zone defense. Bend but don't break. Make them kick field goals. Mike Zimmer had one of the best. Third down, let's get off the field. Mike Zimmer had one of the best. Now you have an offensive-minded head coach who he's going to come in and he's going to say, hey, third down offense. We got to have great plays. We got to be creative. We got to do this. Red zone. I'm going to put you guys in a position to win. Kirk Cousins, you got to make the throw. Kirk, if you see something you don't like in the red zone, switch it. Motion some guys. Move some guys. Let's get you a better idea what the coverage looks like. So all of that is going to help Kirk be better. But then at the end of the day, if you could just throw it to Adam Thielen making one-handed catches, makes your job a lot easier. And we forget he still has Justin Jefferson over there. So Justin Jefferson is going to take a lot of attention away from Adam Thielen. So I think Adam, like touchdowns overall, I think you get 10. From a red zone perspective, I mean, most of his touchdowns were red zone. So I'm thinking like 8 or 9 of those 10 will be red zone touchdowns.
Yeah, the Vikings were 10th in the red zone last year, which is pretty good. But when you've got Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Irv Smith, KJ Osborne, who was another touchdown machine last year, when you've got all those guys, you should be a top 5, maybe even the number 1 red zone team in the league if you're just a little bit creative on offense. So I think they can shoot for 70% in the red zone this year. That is my lofty goal for this team.
Okay.
The college football, Ron, this is interesting. So ESPN ranked all the Division I quarterbacks by tier. So they lumped them into 25 different tiers. Tanner Morgan was in tier number 9, and that put him at about 41st out of 131 quarterbacks that they ranked. So tier 9, 41st rank. Is that about right, Ron, or do you think they're disrespecting Tanner Morgan?
Definitely disrespect, but that's going off of like ESPN. They're not going to go into the vault to rank these guys. College football, just like the NFL, it's about what have you done for me lately. You see that all the time with quarterbacks who have started off great and then had slump years and then they don't get drafted where you think they should. If you look at CJ Stroud, you look at Caleb Williams, you look at Bryce Young. Heisman or bust is what they're calling that tier 1 guys. I mean, we know what you got out of, what you're getting out of Bryce Young. You know what you're getting out of CJ Stroud. Caleb Williams, of course, transfers, follows Lincoln over there. Who knows what kind of NIL he promised him. And then you got the waiting room, tier 2. You got Devin Leary. You got Cam Rising. I love the name. And you got Tyler Van Dyke. Same thing. Where do you put these guys? Are you putting these guys based off of conversations? I know Utah had a great, couple seasons. And so, where's that at? And then you look at tier 3, you go to tier 4, and like you said, all the way down to tier 25. And you look at these are free agents, you look at transfers, you look at tier 24. And so when you think about these numbers, and you said Tanner was what tier?
9, tier 9,
so
which I think it was
so
like
look at tier 25.
Veterans with Moxie was what they called them.
And you got tier 25, which is free agents. So you go all the way from Heisman down to free agents is what they want to call them. But yeah, tier 9, you got 7 players. You got Sam Clifford from Penn State. I like it. You got Tanner McKee, Stanford. You got Tanner Morgan. You got Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State. You got Jordan Travis from Florida State. And then you have Tristan Gebbin and Chance Nolan. Now, there's the thing, Gebbia, sorry. And there's the thing about them. Those are both Oregon State's quarterbacks. So they're saying whichever one is going to start is going to be in that tier. That's why I take it with a grain of salt. You don't know what either of these guys are really going to be, but you're just saying whichever one starts is in tier 9. That to me is dumb, because if one of them was, you're telling me two guys competing are better or should be in the same tier as Tanner Morgan. So that's why I think that's just somebody who's writing. Great read, great write, gives you a lot of, Adrian Martinez went to Kansas State. He's not better than Tanner Morgan. He's in tier 7. Like, come on. I mean, it's about like where they're at. Same with tier 7. You got Cade McNamara and JJ McCarthy, two guys at Michigan fighting for a spot, but they both should be in tier 7. Whatever.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, if they wrote this story after the big year with Tyler Johnson and Rashad Bateman, he probably would have been in like tier 3, Correct. So these things are constantly changing. Last one, NBA Finals start tonight. Ron, we've talked about sort of your pick for the series as far as the team goes, but I want to get your MVP selection before the series starts this evening.
Steph Curry. I think this is his time. Like, he doesn't have a Kevin Durant. He doesn't have a guy on the opposite side like a LeBron James that can steal the show. Now, Jason Tatum is a favorite as well. I think it was Clay, or it was Steph, then Tatum, then Jaylen Brown, then what's his name? His brother. Splash brother, Klay Thompson. So I think those 4 were like the high money for Vegas as far as who in Bet Online for who are gonna be the MVPs. But I'm gonna go with Steph. I think he's played second fiddle a lot of these finals to some guys every once in a while, and he's got put in some positions. I think he's really he's a veteran now. He's rested. Like the Warriors got him back at the perfect time. So I think he's going to show up and show out. Like, he's going to be ready to go. So my favorite, Steph Curry.
All right, I'm going to go Clay just to be contrarian, because I think that Boston will sell out to stop Steph. So if Clay puts together some big games, I think he could get the vote.
Yeah, I mean, but the Boston Celtics say they're the best. Not they. People are saying they're one of the best defensive teams in NBA history. So you shouldn't have to sell out for Steph. You should just be able to lock him down. And I don't care how many people you throw at Steph. He can shoot from the logo comfortably. Like, a step in front of the logo is just his warm-up. Like, he does that. So you're going to have to extend that defense further than you want. And then once he passes it and gets to doing that crazy run around the park thing he does, like, his I'd love to see his conditioning and cardio program, because it is ridiculous. But yeah, good luck, Boston. If Steph is off, I think that's going to be the key. Jason Tatum can't let up on the gas at all. He's going to do his Kobe Bryant text with the wristband thing. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think it's the Warriors, and I think it's Steph Curry MVP.